Good morning, friends. It's day 20. Yes, I know I'm a mess. I've got an appointment this morning, so I need to get this soup on before I get ready. But first I want to share something with you. This is hilarious. I found this in my fridge. It is a pepperoni roll. I haven't seen a pepperoni roll in forever. I'm going to assume this is Mason's girlfriend, Elena's. They're hilarious. Now, West Virginia, if you know, every gas station that you stopped at, every little place had a pepperoni roll, some meemaw made at the counter, and it's just bread stuffed with pepperoni. But this is hilarious. Look at that big sucker. This thing has 510 calories and 57 grams of carbohydrates. Oh yeah, I hope she loves every bite of it. All right, let's get to the soup. I just had to reminisce about a pepperoni roll. I haven't seen one forever. So what soup are we making this morning? We are going to make a Kentucky Burgoo. Now, what is a Kentucky Burgoo if you don't know? It's sort of like a stew, but it's made with more than one meat. Traditionally, it's pork, chicken, beef, but depending on what part of Kentucky you are from, or it's just like vegetable soup or stew, everybody has their own recipe and what meat they put in. So it could be some squirrel meat, it could be some rabbit, it could be venison. It could be anything that you want meat-wise. So for me, this is what I'm going to do. I have some leftover meats. We have that beef roast, remember, that I made the other day. And I have some chicken breast. No, these are chicken thighs that I cooked in the slow cooker yesterday. So we have that. And so I'm doing the traditional meats, the beef, the chicken, and the pork. But the pork that I'm using is just some pork sausage because regular pork, like pork shoulder or pork roast, flares Brock up, so but he can eat sausage because right now he's flared up. We tested some cauliflower crust at the pizza shop. He ate some, and I don't know, that crust is gluten-free, but whatever was in that cauliflower crust and he ate flared him up, and he's on crutches. That's how quick something can flare him up. So we know the cauliflower crust are out. He can eat regular cauliflower, but not cauliflower crust. So we're going to stick with this. This is just pork sausage. You get any kind you want. Make sure it's low carb and no sugar added to it. So I'm just going to take the sausage out. I just browned it up in the skillet just now. I want to save a little bit of that pork sausage grease, okay? So this was pretty lean. There's not a lot of grease left in this. So that's why I'm kind of taking it out with a spoon. I want to hold on to a little bit of that grease because I'm going to saute. Now I know this will be controversy, so this is going to be kind of more of a ketovore recipe. I'm going to saute some onions and celery. Now this is going to cook down, so there's not going to be much there, but I want it for that flavor, okay? A traditional burgoo has lots of veggies in it, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So, if you are doing keto or ketovore, do some onions, some celery, and some carrots. Now, you don't have to saute the carrots, you can put those in. Or you could start with those vegetables. And some pepper, green pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper, whatever kind of pepper you want, if you're eating that, okay? So you're going to have our meats, and now we're going to move on to my veggie part. So I've got my skillet back on the heat. I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of butter, get that melted, and then we're going to saute our little bit of onion and celery. Okay, so I've got the onions and the celery done sauteing. I'm going to add a little bit. This is the chicken broth from my chicken last night. So there's 2 cups here. I'm just going to take a little bit there and kind of deglaze the pan, get all those bits off of there. Do that a few minutes. I'll be right back. So that's done. We're just going to add it right in with our sausage. So here's what you need to know. I'm using leftover meat. If you're using fresh meat, you're going to use some small beef roast or some pork shoulder steak, because that's the cheapest pork shoulder steak, and it has a ton of flavor. Chunk it up, get you a big skillet, get you some bacon grease, brown your beef, brown your pork, Brown your chicken if you're using raw, and then pull all of that aside. Then saute your onions and your celery, and then put it in your slow cooker or your pot, because it's going to go all day and that meat's going to finish cooking. Okay, so there we go. We got that in. And now we're going to put in the meats. So I'm just going to put in my chicken. I'm not even going to heat it up. This is cold, straight from the fridge. Slow cooker will do that today while I'm at my appointment. There's our chicken, our pork, and now our beef. Remember I made it in that cream sauce? I'm just going to put that cream sauce right in there. It's just heavy cream. It's not going to hurt anything. There's not much there. There is all of our trifecta meat. We got our pork, our chicken, and our beef. Sauteed onions and celery. Now I'm going to come back. We're going to do some spices and our broth part. So we have our meats in here. Now we're going to do our seasoning. So we're going to do some salt. And we're going to do some onion powder. So my brother lives in Arizona, garlic powder. But when he was here in Ohio, he had a restaurant and he served Kentucky Burgoo sometimes as a special. So I called him last night and I said, hey, I'm making this Kentucky Burgoo, but I'm going to try to make it kind of like a carnivore, ketovore, because I got to add some things for some flavor. What am I forgetting? He said, don't forget Italian seasoning. So you could do basil, thyme, rosemary, but all of this has all of that in there. So I'm going to add my Italian seasoning. We're going to add, this is where it gets ketovore, because I'm going to add some can of tomatoes with basil, garlic, and oregano. Now I know I'm kind of veering off of strict carnivore. Well, I haven't really been doing strict carnivore, but I haven't had any fruit or veg. So this is kind of where I'm veering off today. But I have this appointment. This is what I have in my house. So this is what we're going to make. Those tomatoes, and it's not a lot, it's just a 14-ounce can. They are going to cook down. You can choose to do that, choose not to do it, or you could use some crushed tomatoes instead. Now we're going in with the broth, and we're going to do chicken and beef broth. So this is 2 cups of broth that I had from cooking the chicken earlier. I don't remember if I added my pepper. If I didn't, I'm going to add a little bit more. Pepper. Okay. So we've got 2 cups of chicken broth. Now we're going to do 2 cups of beef broth, and then we're going to add some more because, you know, it's soup. Somebody's texting. 2 cups. All right, let's give that a good stir. Doesn't look real appetizing right now, but it's going to be delicious. So we're going to try it. I know it's cold, but I need to check the spices and the salt, all that. I'm just going to get a little bit of broth here. Now we're going to do our soup part, the broth. I'm going to measure so you'll know, I'll know. All right, so we're going to do a whole box, 32 ounces of beef broth, okay? What you're going to need. And I had 2 cups of chicken broth from the chicken. And then we've got some additional chicken broth here. Let's see what we've got here. So 3 cups. So 5 cups of chicken broth and 4 cups of beef broth. And there you have it. Now, I forgot, I want to add a little bit of Worcestershire. We're going to add a couple teaspoons of that. Okay? There you go. Now, I want to explain something to you. A traditional Kentucky Burgoo has veggies in it. So, lima beans, corn, potatoes, carrots, some do okra. You can put in whatever kind of vegetable you want. So if you're doing ketovore and you want to add some vegetables, or you're doing keto, you could add some turnips. Turnips, we love turnips here as an alternative to potatoes. Throw you in some carrots. Throw you in some lima beans if you're eating those. But the carrots, the okra, oh, throw in some green beans. Oh, yes. All right, so I'm going to tradition. This is as far as I'm going to go for my soup. Trying to keep it as close to carnivore as possible. We've added those tomatoes. Celery and onions will kind of cook away. Got those for flavor. Putting it on the base. Go. So I've got it set on low, slow cook. Dinner's ready tonight. I've got to go get ready for my appointment. So I hope you enjoyed this soup, and I'll be back at dinner time to show you what it looks like. It's day 20, World Carnivore Month. It's soup season. So today we have my version of the Kentucky Burgoo. There you have it. Of course, we got to give it a try. It's absolutely delicious. I know I added those little bit of tomatoes, a little bit of onion and celery, but you kind of need it. Be all right. Be all right. Hope you enjoy it. As always, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me.